And we are live.
All right, thank you, Noel. Good evening, everyone. I call to order this evening the Citizens Advisory Council meeting for August 23rd, 2021. My name is Rob Sims. I'm the chairperson for the Citizens Advisory Council, and I want to welcome all panelists and guests that have made it to this evening's meeting. First order of business, we want to introduce new members of the CAC, and we actually have a new Vista. So we'll actually go down the list. We have Miss Kashana Person.
That's right, Kishana Person.
Thank you, Kishana Person. She's Ward 1. We have Miss Kelly Jackson at large. And then hey, good evening. And then we have Miss Gabby Kozlowski, which is one of our new Vistas, I do believe. Hey, Gabby.
Hey, everyone.
Hey there. And then we're also going to go down the list. We have Mr. Belton on the line.
Yes.
We have Jim.
Welcome aboard, everyone.
Okay. We have Jim Bronner.
Yep.
We have Miss Jessica Wynn.
Here.
And Rob Sims is present. Today's absent. We do not have members Clodagh Lazinski, Warren Boone, or Orrell Henry. And so, any of our new members wish to say anything? Give us a little bit about yourself if you like.
All right, well, I'm new to the city of High Point. I have lived in the Triad area for a while, but I just moved to High Point early February. This is my first time being associated with the CAC. So I'm just looking forward to, doing my part, and I'm an Aggie alum. So that's it.
Oh, very nice. Aggie pride. Very good. All right. Ms. Jackson, would you like to say something to the people?
Yes, I was born and raised right here in the city of High Point. I'm so excited to be part of this committee for a first time. I feel like I'm giving back to the community by participating. Love High Point so much that I graduated from High Point University for my undergrad, my master's, and my doctorate, all from High Point U. So I will be paying them from the grave. Education is my thing. So,
Kelly, what ward were you again? I'm so sorry.
I am at large.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Jackson. And Miss Gabby.
Hi, I'm Gabby. I am from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and I also graduated from HPU in May. And
Okay.
yeah, so I really enjoyed living in High Point as like an actual community member as opposed to like an undergrad. I feel like already I've learned just so much more and seen so much more. And I've enjoyed attending meetings like neighborhood leaders. I attended the nutrition seminar today for the city of High Point. I just feel like I'm learning so much already. So I'm excited to learn from leaders like you and to make real change in this city.
All right. Well, thank you, new members. We are honored to have you on this CAC panel. We know that you bring a wealth of knowledge and experience that will help us as we navigate through our responsibilities as liaisons with the public and with the city council. We as Citizens Advisory Committee members, our job is to work with the public, bring any ideas that we have back through community development and housing, bring those to the city council. So your jobs are very important. So I want to thank everyone in attendance this evening, and we appreciate everything that you're going to do and look forward to a great year. I also wanted to mention on the call this evening, we do have our technical support. We have Community Housing and Development. We have Mr. Michael McNair, CDH Director. We have Miss Michelle McNair, Assistant Director. Or that was for you, Michelle, because you do so much. We also have Kaisha Hicks.
Hi.
And
Rob, I am the Community Resource Manager.
You don't want the assistant director to hear you say that.
That's what I was getting ready to say, but she might be listening to us, but you don't want Nina to hear that.
well, I was hoping she was here. She's not here?
No, she's not.
No, okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, my apologies. The actual assistant director is Nina. She is not with us this evening. So my correction. And then we have, I think that's everyone. Okay. Oh, and of course, let's not forget Noelle. She is our technical support for the Zoom meeting this evening. Okay. So right now, if we like, someone would lead us in prayer, or we can have a moment of silence.
Hey, Rob, before we do that, can the other CAC members introduce themselves to the new members? They may not know them.
Oh, certainly, certainly. We'll start with Jim Bronner.
Well, Gabby, I seen you the other night at the neighborhood leaders meeting, but my name's Jim Bronner. I'm the president of the Oakview Citizens Council, which is a neighborhood group, and I also serve on the Guilford County Parks and Recreation Commission. And I used to be on our High Point Parks and Recreation Commission. And I'm just active. I'm just an old hippie that likes to see things get done. So here I am. But I'm on my way out of here. My term is up. So I elected not to be reappointed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bronner. Miss Jessica.
Hello. I am Jessica Wynn. I work for the High Point Market Authority. I have lived in High Point for 2 years, worked in High Point for 5 years, and I represent Ward 4. So it's nice to meet you guys. I'm excited to work with you.
Thank you, Jessica. Next, we have Mr. Donald Belton.
I'd like to say hi to everyone. Welcome aboard. New folk usually bring new ideas, and my philosophy is pretty simple. Not one of us is stronger than all of us. And as we continue to work together, we get to know each other a little better. High Point is home for me, born and raised here, been here all my life, which is, I think I'm coming up on my 21st year being here. All my life. Someone's supposed to laugh at that.
I did.
I was on mute. I am chuckling.
But I serve at large at the pleasure of the mayor. I'm affiliated with the Burns Hill Neighborhood Association. Been very active in the last several years since my retirement. Again, born and raised, didn't realize how much I didn't know about this city, and was woefully embarrassed at a community meeting that I really thought I knew what I was talking about. And I told my wife at the time that that would never happen again, that I would get involved. And now I've turned into a professional volunteer. And I'm delighted to be on this Citizen Advisory Council. I've learned so much.
Thank you, Mr. Belton. And again, my name is Rob Sims. This is my first term, going into my second term as Citizens Advisory Committee member. I'm originally from the Washington, D.C. area, and I have lived in High Point roughly now about 15, 20 years. I'm currently a success coach of the nonprofit here in High Point. My job is to help people to get trained, want to see them certified and in careers. So my interest is in improving our community from the inside. I believe in the youth. because that is the future. I tried not to coin a song, but I'm sure everyone here knows that song because we believe that children are the future. So I'm honored to be here again amongst a great group of people. This has been a great experience so far. And, I look forward to everything that we're going to do moving forward. Okay. And so we will move to the next portion of the agenda. Would anyone like to lead us in prayer?
I can.
Thank you.
Mhm. Dear Lord, thank you so much for this day. Thank you for gathering us all together to learn from each other and to hopefully make High Point a more livable and safe place to live. Thank you for the blessings that you constantly give us. And we lift up your name with everything that is said tonight. In your name I pray, amen.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. All right. So first order of business this evening, ladies and gentlemen, are the minutes, which according to the agenda, we don't have minutes available for this meeting. And hopefully we'll have them for the next meeting, but I would defer to Michelle. Are there any addendums we need to add for the minutes?
Nope, you said it good.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, moving to old business. We're going to start with our neighborhood updates, and we'll open the floor to anyone that has attended the meeting or has updates from any neighborhood associations.
I guess I can. The Oakview Citizens Council had a super successful national night out. We had a good attendance, very good attendance. Kept the message where it was supposed to be. Had every year we do an art contest for the kids at the summer camp at Oakview Rec Center. That was part of the deal. Jessica arranged for the mascot for the Rockers to be there, and Rockers were also generous and gave us some tickets to give away. And we all had fun. It was a great time.
Aurel is not here today, so I'll have to call him out behind his back in front of everybody. But Aurel was the DJ, and I must say he did a fantastic job.
Yeah, he did. Like he was a professional.
He did. Like, he seemed professional. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, this is legit.
He even cracked a few jokes.
And Rob, we had, I think it was 8 or 7 neighborhood associations to participate in National Night Out this year. Some of them did it a little different than they normally do. Some of them actually, they did not have as much activities as they normally do. I think Jim was the one that had the most activity going on. Because of COVID, they decided to scale down. And so we had we initially had Haley Historical and Washington Street scheduled, but because of the prediction for the rain, they decided to cancel out. So they did not do National Night Out at all. I think Washington Street was going to do something a little different a little bit later on in the month. But Macedonia, London Woods, as Jim said, Oakview, Burns Hill, West End, and Holland Mill all had National Night Outs. And normally, when they have National Night Out, they do not meet for the month of August. That is their meeting. And so, so most of those neighborhoods did not, meet for that month. I am not for sure going forward, and Jim can talk about his neighborhood association, who is going to continue to meet, with the Delta variants going higher and higher, the numbers. I'm not for sure what that is going to do with the neighborhoods who have decided not to meet. Maybe the ones that are participating in Zoom will continue to participate in Zoom, and the ones that are doing conference calls will participate maybe in going into conference calls. But that is all I have in terms of what the neighborhoods are doing. I would just share, because we are talking about neighborhoods. Right now, I am expected to have 7 Bonner students. And those Bonner students will be assigned to different neighborhoods. I've asked the neighborhood associations to really work with us on letting those Bonner students be able to help them do some of help them plan some of the activity, not for them to do it, but to help them plan some of the activities that they're going through and some of the things that they're doing, such as if people want to update newsletters, or if people want to do brochures, or if people are talking about maybe doing flyers or having people going out into the neighborhood, maybe just talking to the neighborhood or helping planning events, stuff of that nature is what a lot of the students will be doing. And so hopefully that is I'll start getting students in sometime, maybe next week. I'll know tomorrow exactly when that's going to take place.
Okay, thank you, Michelle. And I do want to mention very quickly, I had the honor of joining one of our neighborhood associations, the Burns Hill Neighborhood Association, with Jerry Mingo. The first week in this month, August the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, Mr. Mingo and the association had put on a youth summit that they had at the Moorhead Recreation Center. It was a pretty good turnout. There was a lot of great response that we got from it. And I wish I had Mr. Mingo here to, tell you about some of the things that happened during that week. But there was a lot of discussion that the youth had all by themselves. There were no adults there that were sort of handling the meeting. It was all handled by the kids. So we got some great response from some agencies. We've got some speakers that come out. So it was a great event, and I want to give big kudos to the Burns Hill Neighborhood Association for having that youth summit this year. They will plan to have in-person meetings, I think, next month. The Burns Hill Neighborhood Association meets at the Moorhead Recreation Center, and we'll have more details to come out as Mr. Mingo makes up that schedule. Okay. All right. Any questions? Any
And
concerns?
just another comment,
comments?
Rob, to the new CAC members, what we normally ask that you do is to attend those meetings so you get to know the neighborhoods, especially the neighborhood where you are the CAC rep for that ward. If you are at large, then you sort of move around, but we ask that you move around to all the neighborhoods to really get to know them. I will probably be inviting you to attend our neighborhood leaders meeting, where you will meet most of the neighborhood leaders that, everything right now is via Zoom. And so you'll meet most of those neighborhood leaders, and then we will send you out a schedule as to when neighborhoods are meeting and who the contact person is. So that if you want to attend that meeting or whatever, you can call that chairperson or that president of the neighborhood association and let them know that you will be attending their meetings.
We also are going to continue to meet. October is Domestic Violence Month, so we've got a huge public forum set up for the best of the best agencies here to come and educate people as to what's available in case you're caught up in that type of situation. We have committed to doing this once a year, every year. We usually work with the Family Justice Center and some of the other agencies that they're affiliated with. But that's our big thing for October. I'm not sure what we're going to do for September, but our meetings will be in person and via Zoom also. So you got an option. If you can't come, you can come by Zoom.
Well, I look forward to attending those meetings.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Bronner. Do we have any other comments? Any questions? Right. Okay, so moving to the next agenda item, we have agency tours. And Aurel is not with us, but Jessica, I think, has a report for us from her agency tour.
I don't, did I do one this month, Michelle?
No, you didn't. It's scheduled for the 13th.
Yes, okay. I was gonna say was West End. I could have sworn I already reported about West End. So I did do West End previously. I reported about that in the last meeting. But Aurel and I both on September 13th have one set up with the Arc of High Point to view. I've toured the Arc before, but I've never seen their dentist program. And so that day their dentist program will be going on. So Aurel and I will be there the morning of the 13th. So we'll be able to report on that one in our September meeting.
Okay, thank you, Jessica. And for our new members, the agency tours that we're talking about, these are agencies that we have supported through the CAC with funds that they have come and they've asked for funds from the city of High Point. The ARC is just one of the many agencies that we funded in the past year. And so there are opportunities that you get to tour agencies, that you get to go out, see what they do. And I encourage you to definitely see what these agencies do, because you'll see them again. Once a year, we do have requests that come in for funds to help with nonprofit agencies. And so if you get the chance, I strongly recommend going out, checking them out. And then, you know, you come back and report and tell us what you think. Okay.
If anybody wanted to go, Michelle, I don't know if we have to ask the ARC for permission, but 9 a.m. on September 13th, Aurel and I are going to the ARC. So if anybody wanted to come along, Michelle, will we have to ask them to add more people?
I'll just no, if they want to come, I'll just let the ARC know that there'd be more than 2 people.
Okay. Yeah, September 13th, 9 a.m.
Excellent. So any questions, any comments for the agency tours? Okay. Moving to the next agenda item, the CAC reappointments. Again, we want to welcome 2 of our newest appointments with Miss Kaishona Person and Kelly Jackson. It looks as though I will be reappointed in September. I've just got that confirmation from my ward representative, Ward 3. And we are still waiting, as Jim pointed out earlier, he is going to be stepping down. So we're still looking for replacements for Mr. Bronner. Excuse me.
As of today, there has been someone named, but they have not actually gone before the city council, which I think this person will be going before city council at the next council meeting.
Okay.
And
all right.
That person, I'm sorry, would not be for Mr. Bronner. That person is going to be for Clota.
Okay.
In Ward 5. We don't have at this point a person that's named for Jim.
Okay. So I think Mr. Bronner, you're going to be with us for a little while. Is that okay?
Hey, I don't bother me. I'm here for.
That's what we like to hear. Commitment, ladies and gentlemen. So excellent. So, well, that's great. So we just, we're still going to work, you know, as diligently as we've done in the past. And so we, again, welcome the new CAC appointments, and we look forward to the new members coming on board.
And can I make a comment, please?
Sure.
For the new members, and when we get the other 2 new members, we will do an orientation with you about CAC and what we do and how the grants are operated and that type of thing. We're just waiting to get the other 2 individuals so that we can do it all at one time.
Okay.
All right. Any questions, comments? Okay. All right. So we're going to move to our next agenda item, our community development and housing update, Mr. Michael McNair.
Let me see if I can share my screen. I'm going to actually share with you a presentation that I made to the Community Development Committee a couple of weeks ago. I like to try to keep you guys in the loop with this stuff, because a lot of stuff, we have presence in other areas, other funding sources, other council committees that may or may not, that you may or may not be aware of. And so sometimes we're working on things that actually don't come through the CAC. They may manifest themselves in our budgets in some way, but it's just a lot of different stuff going on. So one of the things that you'll learn in the orientation is, what we do, who we are, all the different connections we have with other agencies and whatnot, other funding sources. And then the focus beyond activities that we involve that are beyond public services. So that's, let me see if I can make this work here, guys. Hold on a second, share screen. And okay. You have probably have been reading in the paper about the American Rescue Plan Act. And by the way, if anybody has questions, feel free, we can pause and deal with them. But one of the things that we talked about at this meeting on August 3rd was what are the impacts, potential impacts on core city neighborhoods and potential funding from the American Rescue Plan. So what we had done with this group is council had right before COVID started, council had established some strategic objectives to focus in on core city neighborhoods and identify areas that we could have some comprehensive improvements. And so we kind of picked up from that last meeting that February 25, 2020 was the last time that we met and talked about that. So we kind of picked up from there and kind of brought them forward, and we started talking about American Rescue Plan, and we got into the qualified census tracts and potential neighborhood projects. And I'll get into that more in detail, and don't, especially the new members, don't be concerned, like, well, I don't know what that word means, or, we have a lot of jargon. We will definitely work through it. So back in 2020, we did an analysis of all the neighborhoods in the core city, and you see those boundaries there. Those are boundaries that were defined in concert with work from planning and development, and Michelle did a lot of work, and we also got a lot of input from the communities themselves. But what we were able to do was to look at the core city neighborhoods and put them in 5 categories, ranging, from, I guess, most having greatest need to having least needs. And so then we were looking at things, quality of life variables, code enforcement, tax delinquency, things like that. And we actually had made recommendations to the committee. And then, like I said, everything stopped. So we didn't actually get past this point, but the information that we gathered was still pretty relevant, and the recommendations were relevant as well. Now, because of the American Rescue Plan, now let me back up for just a second. One of the big obstacles in doing anything with this was resources. We didn't have the resources, didn't know how we were going about doing it. So we were able to analyze it, but we didn't really have the resources to do anything with it. Now with the ARP, there's a possibility of us doing some things. You're probably aware the city of High Point was allocated it's either 22.5 or $23 million from the American Rescue Plan under what's called the State and Local Fiscal Recovery Funds, or FRF. And those funds are designed to allow local governments to eliminate or compensate themselves for revenue losses arising from the pandemic. And so that's kind of the city's priority right now, is to recoup those losses. But once that's done, there are other activities that can be undertaken. And one of them has to do with qualified census tracts. The American Rescue Plan identifies qualified census tracts as communities that have been most negatively impacted by the pandemic. And so with that funding model, they can provide significant levels of assistance. So when we look at the core city, you see the core city outline, all that orange those are all qualified census tracts. And you can see the neighborhoods and everything. And so you can see by the definition, 50% of household incomes or less than 60% of the area median incomes, what AMI stands for, or poverty rate of at least 25%. So what that means is that there are activities that could be undertaken that the feds consider to be presumptively eligible. In other words, you don't have to really explain or do a whole lot of analysis. You can do emergency home repairs and other programs and services in those areas for income eligible people. You don't have to really identify exactly why it benefits or what or how it reflects, how it addresses the pandemic. The assumption is if you live in that area automatically has been identified as being greatly impacted, and there are programs that are available. So we talked about that. And we looked at it from the standpoint of, well, there's actually a couple things we can do. And I suggested to them that, we could offer home repair services to income eligible homeowners. Something at the time we said 25,000, but it'd probably be more like 12,000. But these would be what we call deferred loans. Deferred loans are grants with a string on them so that we can kind of pull it back if we found out that somebody's been less than truthful. Sometimes some people are very good at hiding assets and we find out about it later. Or they move out of the house or something, or want to sell the house after we put money in it. So we want to be able to recapture that stuff. But we kind of talked through all that. So, okay, let's say in the core city, if you wanted to, you got to consider the numbers here. If you want to help 100 households at 25,000 a head, then you're talking 2.5 million. If you drop it down to 12.5 thousand, 100 households would be 1.25 million. The question is, do you want to go 100 households, 200 households, 300 households? So that's we just kind of laid that out there as something for them to think about. Then we looked at it from a specific neighborhood standpoint, because again, the focus of this was to identify neighborhoods where we could do some pretty strategic stuff. And we pointed out to them that a neighborhood that struck us as being a good candidate was the Underhill Street area. Underhill, if you're not familiar with it, runs right alongside or parallel to Daniel Brooks. Daniel Brooks is under redevelopment. And so the suggestion that we made was, well, we ought to leverage that redevelopment. The city is putting $6.5 million into the Daniel Brooks redevelopment. And then the housing authority has come in with another, I believe, $11 million. Let's leverage that and, turn this neighborhood around, make that impact that you're talking about. And that's what you want. That's what we're looking at, is rather than us trying to define an area and just come in with everything, we just didn't have the resources to do it, but this is one way that we could. And so, a suggestion that was made, we're going to meet again and talk about it. They were very receptive to this. And we just have to work through some of the details. So again, one of the things we pointed out to them was, well, you need to touch every house in the target area. You can't come in and say, we're only going to work with homeowners. We're not going to work with investor owners. You can't really do that. You're going to end up with what I call a snaggerpuss effect. So we could offer deferred loans to homeowners, but to investor owners, we'd offer them paying loans that were low interest, could be zero interest, as a cost sharing, maybe half and half or something like that. And then we need to identify infrastructure needs and other infill development opportunities, because there are some vacant lots out there. So that's what we went through with them. Before I go to, I actually have another one. Before I go to another discussion, did anybody have any questions about that?
Yeah, I do. How much, I know the county is getting money also.
Yeah.
How are people in High Point eligible for that county money also?
Well, I have made the argument that High Point's QCTs are Guilford County's QCTs. And so we should have some access to that funding. This is still very early on. There's the guidance that is out now is what they call interim guidance. The final guidance has not been released. Everyone has been kind of reluctant to step out and start making commitments until they see the final guidance. And I think that's been the guidance that's come from the School of Government. Don't spend the money until you know what the final guidance is. So I think there's possibly some discussions going on beyond my pay grade with the county. I don't know. I would imagine that there is some discussion going on.
How much did they get? Do you know, Mike?
I believe the county got about 100 million. Greensboro got about 55 million or so. So it's, all of the entitlement cities in North Carolina got a pretty good chunk there.
So I would think that people in here in High Point would be eligible for some of that county money. I mean, we're in Guilford County.
Yeah. It's depends on how they set it up, because, again, the first priority for everybody is to recoup their losses, local government's losses. And I actually read, I guess, an article or something, and Greensboro was talking about it. And they said that somebody said that half of their funds were going to go to, recapturing COVID losses. Guilford County could have a large amount because they provide health services. So I'm sure they had a lot of costs associated with that. So it's we don't know yet. That's the thing. There are other things that can be done with it, but that discussion has not been had. I know people are asking questions of, but all I can tell you is the city's priority is going to be to recover its costs. Beyond that, I don't have an answer.
I got one more quick question.
Sure.
Our business, because a lot of businesses have suffered because of this pandemic also. Are businesses going to be eligible for some of this also?
My understanding, Jim, is that there are programs that you can develop using the funds, but again, that's the interim guidance that I believe small businesses that have been impacted, say in QCTs, for instance, probably could have some access depending upon what the local government puts together. It's kind of at the discretion of the funding entity. So it's kind of like, Jim, if you think about it, even though there's, 26, 27 cities and counties in the state that receive CDBG funds, all of our programs look different.
Right.
Because they reflect local, various issues, whatever priorities that are happening locally, you may go to one city. I know of one city that spent all of their CDBG on economic development, and that's all they spent on it. And we'd ask, well, what about people that don't have, got holes in the roofs and don't have heat and all that kind of stuff? And they were like, we're only interested in economic development. So you have that range from city to city. Just because an activity is eligible doesn't mean that you would do it. It's just part of the toolkit, you might say, that's available to you that you fine tune to your community.
I've seen, and I'm sure other people have traveled around the city, has seen a lot of businesses who are either closed or they're only open part-time because they can't get employees, they can't get people. And I think like Alex's house right now they're closed because they can't get people. So I think businesses need some help too.
Yeah, there was a nonprofit in Greensboro that was doing, I believe, micro loans of some kind or small business loans. I can't remember their name, but they were getting some funding probably through the CARES Act. But I'd have to look that up. But again, one of the things we run into is just the scale of resources. We don't get the big money that Winston and Greensboro and Durham and Raleigh get. So we have to kind of pick and choose and find a sweet spot and see if we can make a difference in different areas. Anything before I go to the next one? Actually, I have somebody else's presentation that I'm going to try to muddle through since it's not mine. And I'll be kind of reading in real time.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
You keep mentioning QTCs. Will you tell me what that is?
I'm sorry. We get caught up in jargon sometimes, and I'm from Fayetteville, which is acronym city. so you just have to stop and say, what is that? What does that mean? Qualified census tracts, what that means.
Oh.
Okay, so those are areas that are determined to.
Earlier.
Yeah. I kind of went through it kind of quickly, but yeah, those are just areas that are determined to have certain thresholds of poverty and low to moderate income levels that suggest to the feds that they have been impacted the worst. So basically, where you have high concentrations of poverty or lower incomes, the idea is that those populations have been most adversely impacted.
When you say impacted by COVID, and I think I'm piggybacking off of Mr. Oh my gosh, I forgot his name, Mr. Bronner, right? Mr. Bronner, where is a wage loss for a company, for a small business, because people prefer, not because they have COVID, but prefer to stay at home because, of course, we've been hearing and seeing that they are actually, I'm just gonna say it, people are making more money staying home than going to work. So would the business consider that an impact from COVID?
I can't give you a definitive answer on that. Some of that's philosophical, frankly. But it's I know in our income reviews and stuff, when we're analyzing whether somebody's eligible for a program, we were told, HUD told us, do not count that as income. The additional benefits, do not count that as income, because then you could actually price people out. But it's how they define that. Again, it'll be a function of how the program is put together, who are you trying to serve, how they qualify. There's a fair amount of discretion on how you put these things together, but you certainly don't want to be arbitrary and capricious and just making stuff up.
Right.
Because there's some accountability. They want to know, okay, who did benefit and why did you give them the money? You know, one of the things that you'll find out as we get in these public service dollars and stuff, that we're on these people pretty tight. You know, we don't just give them a check and say, see you next year. You know, we're they'll come in mid-year, 6 months in, report to the CAC.
Thank you.
And then it looked like Mike just froze up for a minute.
Yeah, we do site visits. We really stay on it pretty close. So that's something that's doable, but there is a different, okay, I'm being told my connection is unstable. Am I freezing up on you?
Yeah, you do.
A little bit.
A little bit. Tell you what, I'll turn my camera off. Whoops. That'll help maybe. But that the city was going to do that. I would imagine it'd probably come out of the Economic Development Corporation, the EDC. So, but that's a possibility. That's one of the things that I hope that we have some public discussion about. What are we going to do with the resources? We're kind of waiting to hear, waiting to see.
Okay, Mike, I have a question.
Sure.
You had mentioned in one of your slides, housing security.
Yes.
And my question is, what type of activities is housing security, and does housing security apply to renters and not just homeowners?
As I understand the guidance at this point, it does not make that distinction between homeowners and renters. Okay, as far as if you're having housing security issues, that may range from rental assistance. You know, if you're having trouble paying, that may involve, one of the activities is to actually to increase the supply of affordable housing. So you increase the supply, you can improve the quality, make it more energy efficient, things of that nature. But those are, again, these have not been ironed out, you know, as to how you address that. And there's a degree of specificity that I think you're asking for that it's not there yet. These funds are going to be out there for 5 years. And so at this point, what the focus is, or should be, at least what the mayor has said, is for us to plan and know what we're going to do and why we're going to do it. So a lot of moving parts. We are not, when I say we, community development, we're not driving the train on this.
I think he just froze.
Just one of several departments that have ideas, but they may go a different area. They may go into infrastructure. They may decide, well, we want to put up, want to improve Wi-Fi everywhere. Yeah, I don't know. There's just a lot of opportunity. Maybe want to try to conquer the digital divide. A lot of different areas.
Is there an opportunity for citizens to voice any suggestions as to what they want to see in these neighborhoods?
That has not been put out there yet. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if they're going to do like a community input meeting of some kind, or if they're just going to come out and do a public hearing with some recommendations. That's pretty two different extremes on how you would approach it. We have not been privy to any information like that. I understand what you're asking, but it's beyond my it's beyond our ability to do that and be out of sync with the city. So we have to see what the manager wants to do, what council wants to do. And there are people asking those questions. They're talking about it. So you're not alone in thinking that.
Yeah, I read, I think last week that City of High Point was awarded $22 million.
Yes.
I think there was a first installment of 11 million that was coming.
Yep,
And-
22.4, I believe.
Now, is this a part of that money also, or is this something separate? The 22 million.
You're going in and out, Mike.
I'm sorry. I pay good money for this internet. I don't know why it does it.
Well, you're not that far. You're not that far from me, and I'm having troubles too.
That's why we getting this money, y'all. We gotta
Yeah.
improve that Wi-Fi.
Like, what do you say about sketchy internet? Hey, come on.
Yeah.
And I haven't come off yet.
You were asking me, Rob, about you said other you last I heard was you said I think you said we got $11 million, and that was last I heard.
Right. There was a first installment, I think, of 11 million toward that 22 million.
Yeah.
And so I was asking, is this a part of the same monies that we have for the American Rescue Plan, or is it separate from that?
No, that's what it came. It came from a section of the American Rescue Plan. And that section was the local recovery funds. Okay. Because there's other funding out there. With that particular piece, it was a setup for local governments to recover their costs that they incurred due to COVID, due to the pandemic. Because that's what he called it, the fiscal recovery funds. And so that's why I've told, people call me up and say, well, what's the city gonna do with the money? I don't know. I can tell you what the priority is. The priority is gonna be to recover their costs. And whatever is available after that is where, we'll see how the pie gets sliced up. I froze again. Okay, so I'm gonna move on. It's a program called Vax Connect that we have been working with. We actually, the department actually made a grant to this in the amount of $10,000. And what they're doing is they're going out into the community and knocking on doors and talking to people about getting vaccinations. As you can see, they've had, and these numbers are constantly updating, so these are actually fairly old. But they help people with transportation. They go out and identify areas, like in this particular map, parcel 142. You can see that map shows those are the doors they knocked on. So they go out and select an area, and they go knock on doors and help people get vaccinated, help them understand. Now they aren't giving people shots, but they help them talk through misinformation. No, you don't grow an extra ear, or your hair won't fall out if you take this. They just help them understand that. So, but that's what they presented to the committee and just talked about the different areas they've been tapping, knocking on doors with and talking to people. This is one of their scenes out in the community. I'm not sure. I guess that.
Yeah, I lost him again.
They have this map here showing, I guess, total vaccinations, and this came out of the UNCG Greensboro, and the block that they went to, parcel 142, I guess they went to because they had a low vaccination rate. And they have these nice t-shirts, nice bright orange t-shirts that they wear. And this is what they've said, that they go out and engage the community. They knock on doors. They talk to people on their front steps or wherever they feel comfortable. And they're telling us that they're making a difference.
We had them on they were our national night out.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to share that with you. I'm going to stop sharing here in a minute, just to, I'm trying to, okay. Help me out, Noel. Thank you. So, yeah, I just wanted to share that with you. The Community Development Committee meets once a month, and a lot of times we're presenting information to them, sometimes from other agencies like Vax Connect. We have the Guilford County Continuum of Care, which coordinates homeless services in Guilford County. We may have projects that council has given to us directly, and we have to come in and do some analysis and make a recommendation. But I guess we're not broadcasting those anymore. Kind of neat when you can go and watch them, at your discretion. But it's those council committees. The way that High Point works is they'll refer something to a committee, and you'll have a committee of council members. That's 4 people on the committee, though there could be at any time, there could be 9 council members there. But typically there's 4. And so we have, you have the finance committee that obviously deals with all the financial stuff. We have a prosperity and livability committee, which deals with quality of life issues. We have community development committee. We have a public safety committee. And those committees are all manned, staffed by council members. And then particular departments kind of become we're the CD committee, we, by virtue of the name, we're the agency that provides support to them. Rob, I think that's all I got. Let me say one more thing. Operation Inasmuch, if you haven't heard about it, is scheduled for October 23rd. And particularly you newer folks, we'll have to swing back around at some point and orient you towards what that is. But it's a program that we've been doing now for how many years? 8 years, maybe. We normally do it twice a year. We didn't do it last year because of COVID, but it's a volunteer, it's a partnership where we get volunteers. We have a nonprofit agency that we hire to coordinate it. We select a neighborhood. We interact with the homeowners, identify what their needs are. We come in and have a sort of a home repair blitz on one day. And they come into the neighborhood, they conduct the repairs, provide volunteer labor. We pay for the materials, the labor's free, and we rotate it through those neighborhoods that you saw earlier, that what we identified as neighborhoods with greatest need. So we are now, I guess, we've done it often. We do it twice a year. We've done it often enough. We're starting to hit, we've done everybody twice by now, I think, or about to. Maybe hit the second time around, because there's about 7 or 8 neighborhoods that we go through. So maybe we haven't quite got all of them twice yet. But it's a great program. Council really supports it. They allocate $200,000 a year for us to do that. We typically will repair in a year, maybe 30 to 40 homes, just depends on how many people participate. and it's a great program. We have videos. We have videos shot so that people can watch it. We get people coming in from other cities to witness it, and they ask us, well, how do you get this done? How do you get your council to support this? They come out here and they see council out there swinging hammers. So it's a program where we always tell the volunteers that you'll make a relationship today that you'll never forget. You know, and you will you'll help not only help somebody else, but you'll help yourself. Make yourself a better person. You help somebody else have a better life, and it is it's a very almost emotional experience for a lot of people, and they come back over and over again. I want to participate. I want to volunteer. Let me know when the next one is. So we'll have to. Maybe we can, Michelle, definitely for the new ones, we can send them links to the videos. They can watch some of the videos.
What date was it again, Mike?
Say again?
What was the date?
October 23rd is the date. If you are interested in volunteering, we want you to contact, who's coordinating that? Is that?
Dana Donaldson is who's on the flyer.
For volunteers?
I don't know, but maybe it's
No,
what's his name? Gene Brown. No, it's
if you're interested in volunteering, contact us and we'll put you in touch with the right person.
Yeah, that's what I was going to tell you. They just contact me and I'll get them to the right person.
Yeah. Okie dokie. That's all I got, Rob.
All right. Thank you, Michael. And let me just real quick, follow up with what Michael said. Anytime you can get out in the community, it is impactful. We as a CAC, we're that liaison, guys. So we want to make sure that we're involved as much as we can. I mean, don't overwork yourself, but those events like the operation in as much, it does give a satisfying feeling that you are helping out the community. And this is what we're all about here at CAC. So if you can join, please come out. And even if you can't, tell somebody. I mean, because you never know what impact you can make. So again, thank you for that, Michael.
Oh, and before I forget, it's in the neighborhood that it's in is in Macedonia.
Persian. That's it.
Persian.
Macedonian Persian.
Okay. Those are the neighborhoods that will be involved this time.
All right.
Can someone please add me to the invite for the September 13th, 9:00 visit at ARC? Art?
Got you.
Okay.
Got you, Kelly.
All right.
All right. All right. So anyone have any questions, comments for Michael? Okay. All right, we're going to move to our next agenda item. I don't see Councilman Jefferson here, so Michael or Michelle, are there any updates from City Council?
I have not been at the last couple of council meetings, so I'm a bit out of the loop. Other than I don't think, we've had normal city business. I don't recall there being anything that was outrageous or anything. You, Michelle, you recall anything?
Nope.
Pretty much standard procedure type stuff.
Okay. All right.
I'm sure Cyril would have more to add, but that's all I got.
Well, thank you, Mike. To be fair to Cyril, yes, he is a plethora of information, so we always appreciate Mr. Jefferson. So, but hopefully he'll be at our next meeting. So I'll move on to the next agenda item, which is elections. And I hope everyone here received their election ballots. They were to be turned in on the 25th, which was yesterday. I'm hoping we received them all, and I will direct that to Michelle for an update.
Okay, and I want to thank everybody because we did receive everybody's information except for one member. And as you guys know, that person is out of the country right now. And so we were not able to get any input from her, but we did from everybody else, which was very good. Hold on for a minute. Okay, as you guys know, in July, August timeframe for the new members is normally when we do elections. And the document that you guys received pretty much told you the offices that we actually elect officers for and the terms, the length of the terms that they can actually be elected. And so you guys chose for the 2000, I sound like I'm doing a football or basketball. Hey, Mike, you're supposed to laugh. No, okay. Y'all didn't catch it, so okay, right, okay. So you guys chose for your officers for your 2021-22 year. Chair, Aurel Henry. Vice Chair, Jessica Wynn. Secretary, Kishana, is that right? Okay. Kishana Person. And Parliamentarian, Warren Boone. And I have got confirmation from the two individuals, and I'm waiting for confirmation from two others. So to make sure that they will accept those positions, and those positions will go in effect next month at our September meeting. So thank you for your input and thank you for doing that. And congratulations to all the new officers.
Congratulations, everyone. Congratulations, Jessica, Kishana. You guys are going to do a great job. So we're looking forward to a great year from you. All right. Does anyone have any questions, any comments?
Just thank the officers that are actually leaving those positions for a job well done. You guys have actually carried us through the pandemic. There was a lot of stuff went on, and additional grants was given out, and additional meetings were held, and we just want to thank you guys for your work.
Excellent. All right. Agenda items for the next meeting. The floor is open. Well, I have one agenda item. Don't know how far to go, but can we look into increasing our budget for nonprofit assistance that we get through the city for nonprofits?
I am going to let Mr. McNair address that.
We can look at it. Depends on what our allocations look like. The first thing we have to do is run the railroad. You know, I got to pay the staff, got to keep the lights on, all that kind of stuff. And then we look at how much is available from that. There's not, we've kept it kind of flat for the last few years, probably the last 5-6 years. And we can take a look at that. There's supposedly, I think, a 5% increase in CDBG that's being proposed. We don't know if that's going to, manifest itself or not. A lot of times you hear stuff this time of year, and by the time you get to the budget, it's nothing like what you heard. So that's a possibility. We'll just have to see what our other priorities are and kind of weigh that out accordingly. I'm sure we'll have much discussion.
Excellent.
So you want to add it to the agenda for next?
I can't tell you now that we won't know what our allocations look like until at the earliest, November-ish, December-ish would be the earliest that we would know. And even that's an estimate from one of the other agencies. But we would have a ballpark. What they're, we belong to the National Community Development Association. And so every year they're analyzing the numbers that HUD is working on. And I guess they have a copy of HUD's formula or something. They tend to be pretty close. When they come out and say this is going to be your allocation, they tend to be pretty close. But what our allocation what it actually is what's in that letter that we get from HUD with the HUD logo on it. That's the one we got to go by. But they tend to be pretty close. So we'll have a better sensing by then, as we're going through the budget process. When I say we, I mean the country. If we have a shutdown or something, then all that gets delayed. So if we have normal, I don't know when it's been normal, but supposedly the budget's supposed to be, go into effect October 1, right? So when was the last time that happened? so we just won't know until it's too early right now. We have no idea. We know what's gone through committee, and that's at the macro level. I think there are about 350 entitlements in the United States. And so when HUD says, or Congress says, we'll allocate you $3.5 billion, and there's some formula they do, and we're all show up differently on that formula based on, the age of our housing, the poverty levels that we have, things like that, filter out and they say, a number will come out on the other side and say, that's your allocation. So even looking in North Carolina, there are cities that are smaller than us. They get more money than we do because they're poorer than we are. So you can imagine that. And then, so it's a lot of factors come into play. So we'll have a better sense. So you shouldn't have asked me that, Rob. We'll have a better sense. You should have left me alone. So you started asking me questions. We'll have a better sense in a few months.
Okay. Well, we'll keep that close to the agenda items. We'll see how that fares over the next couple of months. But thank you for that, Michael. We do appreciate that. Does anyone else have any agenda items they'd like to see on the next meeting? Neighborhood associations?
Morel, Kelly, and I will have gone to the ARC by then, so we'll have an update then for that.
Excellent, excellent. And I encourage everyone, if they could, to get out to your neighborhood association meetings. I know it's going to be kind of tricky because we've got virtual. There's a few that may be doing in person. And there are some that may not have the meetings. But just keep in mind that we are the liaison group. And so we want to make sure we're that go-between for the citizens and for city council. So that's my piece. All right.
Michelle, did you went over neighborhood meetings already, but did you list any dates for any upcoming ones, or did you just say you didn't know? I'm sorry.
He'll be waiting for me to get that information out to you. I just have to figure out who's meeting and who's not after I talk to the neighborhood leaders. I think Jim can tell you about his own meeting because he's here, but I also put it on the list whenever I send it out to everybody.
Yeah, we're really going to push hard for people to come to our October meeting, whether it's by Zoom or in person, because that domestic violence thing is so important. So many people do not know where to go or what to do, and that's what this is all about. And I know there's two domestic violence victims who will be.
Okay. All right. Any questions, comments from the floor? Excellent. So ladies and gentlemen, our next meeting is scheduled for September 23rd. For all new members and for those that have not picked up their Trust First book, I think you can get that from Michelle. If you just reach out to her, she'll let you know how to pick that up. I have mine. It's a pretty good read. So I think everyone would want to get that as soon as they can. And do we have any announcements? Okay. I have one announcement. We have a holiday coming up, which is the Labor Day holiday. And with so few things that were available to us over the past year, we do have the John Coltrane Jazz Festival that will take place this year at Oak Hollow Lake. I invite everyone to come out, not just because I love the event, but because I am working the event. I'm volunteering, and I want to see everybody out there with smiles and, you know, all this great excitement that we look forward to from a year being inside. But that takes place on Saturday and Sunday, Labor Day. So if you can, come out, enjoy the good music, the good times, and we look forward to seeing everybody. And if anybody wants to volunteer, certainly give me a call.
Well, I'm not 100% sure yet, but in early October, there's going to be another citywide cleanup. And Oakview was involved last. Well, we did our own thing, which we had a huge turnout. And I haven't talked to the rest of the people, but I'm going to try to get everybody to do that again. Because the streets are a mess and they need to be cleaned up. I travel all of them all day, and I see how horrible they look. So we need to get out there and do it, help clean up.
Yeah, and they normally have clean sweep during that time. And so whenever I get information, I'll send it out to everybody so you can participate in your neighborhood or in someone else's neighborhood, that type of thing. So I'll send that information out when I get it from Rebecca.
Yeah, Rebecca did. She's the one that told me about the one in early October. I think she said October.
Yeah, the city sponsors two per year, one in the spring and one in the fall.
I told her we would probably join up instead of doing our own thing.
I think
We'll still probably do our own thing anyway, but
Yeah.
it'll be that same day.
Yeah, I think it's good because one of the things that we tried to get the neighborhood to do early on was to do like monthly cleanups, and then use those two cleanups to just compile it with what the city is doing. And then maybe 12 months out of a year, your neighborhood have gotten clean, however you divide it out. And it started out good, but then it dropped. And so hopefully it will get picked back up.
I have a small update. I know it's getting to be 8 o'clock, so I'll keep it quick. This is more just for fun, but so Tiny Houses LLC, I believe we've given them money before. It was before my time. I think that was right when I was coming on to the CAC, but they actually own a Styrofoam Densifier, and through like a fun market connection, they'll be doing a Styrofoam Densifier demonstration at market in one of our sustainability themed kind of venues that we're doing this time. And so we're going to do like a local news story and stuff about them, but they actually use the Styrofoam Densifier to help generate income for the nonprofit and for the people they serve. Their mission is to alleviate people, to help people that are experiencing homelessness. And so they're kind of doing it for us for market just because they're into the sustainability piece, but hopefully we'll get a lot of news exposure for them. And then, I mean, if you ever need Styrofoam, drive through the downtown twice a year. So hopefully we'll get them a lot of supplies too. So
what is this? What is it you're talking about? To explain what you're.
So it's a Styrofoam densifier. So Styrofoam's not recyclable, or it is, but it takes a huge amount of money and investment for a city to be able to invest in the kinds of equipment it needs to recycle Styrofoam. So you can melt Styrofoam down, but then it needs to get grinded up And then it needs to get turned into these like beads that then can get put into a 3D printer. And so there's like a 3-phase approach to that, 3 machines needed. And for a city to invest in all of those machines, City of High Point investing in a machine big enough to handle the market's influx of styrofoam, it's a really huge investment. And that's why a lot of cities don't recycle styrofoam. But Styrofoam Densifier, styrofoam's like one of the worst things we can be putting in the landfills too. And so Tiny Houses LLC came across a Styrofoam Densifier by chance. Kind of an environmental nonprofit gifted it to them, but so they've really become educated in how to use it and are trying to get more grants to get other pieces of the machine. Right now, when they melt it down, they have to send that off to get grinded, then send that somewhere else to get it made into beads, and then sell that to the person who actually takes it and makes things like picture frames, crown molding, all sorts of cool stuff out of the styrofoam. So it almost turns it into plastic that can be made to use lots of things that an exhibitor might sell at market. And then if you have a 3D printer, you can complete the whole process. So just really raising awareness about that, but then also hopefully getting them some publicity that maybe leads to more funds so they can get more machines and stuff like that. So, we kind of came across it because of the sustainability themed venue we're doing this time, but hopefully it'll lead to market's 112 years old, so I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. Could be a nice supply of styrofoam for free for a while. So cool, fun connection to one of the organizations that often apply for our grants. Michelle, he mentioned, Scott Jones, that he's trying real hard to get a High Point location. I don't know if you know anything about that, but
Yeah, we work with Scott all the time, and yes, he's trying to move his location from Greensboro to High Point because the building that he's in now belongs to UNCG, and they're going to be using that building next year. And so he is trying to move the business here into High Point. And so, we are aware of that. And with the Styrofoam, he's done something in Greensboro. They have they done something last year, a year before, and the way he described it was awesome in what they're doing. So, yeah.
It's such a random connection, but it fits and it's really, really cool. And, the way he tells you, he didn't really care about recycling at all before all this happened. And now he's going to be a speaker at Market talking about recycling styrofoam. So it's just weird how things work out. But yeah, we're excited. I'd love for them to be in High Point, but excited to help them in, Market. It's kind of hard to figure out how to help people that, it's an event, it's a business event. So it's cool when you can make connections like this.
I never knew you could recycle styrofoam.
Right now you can't. The city of High Point can't anyway, because again, so much money. But Scott Jones, right now you can go to Greensboro. It's off of, does it turn into Lee Street by the time it gets up that? It's Gate City Boulevard. It's Lee Street by the time you get to his location. But I don't know. This is a good question. Scott mentioned on our last phone call that at Ingleside that they were either planning on having some recycling points where people could go and dump their recycling in a bin that they would put out there with a trailer. It's either going to happen soon I think it was going to happen soon. I don't think it's going to happen yet. I don't think it's there right now, but soon you'll be able to take your styrofoam to the dump and recycle it properly, and Scott Jones would then get it.
And just for some of you, Scott Jones is also building tiny houses on Hayes Street. And also, once that is finished, there will be tiny houses on Smith Street. And those houses will be housing mostly homeless individuals, maybe a single mom or a single dad or whatever. But you can always go by Hayes Street. That's where they are up right now in High Point. And so, and you can see what he's doing.
Okay, thank you very much. Do we have any other comments? Any announcements?
I just want to say thank you. I've learned so much in just this hour. And so, I mean, yeah, I'm excited.
Excited to have you.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, if there are no more comments, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor and a second. We'll let's just take a poll. Any opposed? Then the ayes have it. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Well, thank you guys. Everyone have a good evening, and we will see you September the 23rd.